if you're asking me to predict next year's NBA Finals, I think we're going to see who we're seeing right now. I think we're going to see the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors running this back next year.
So next year, I would in the West. I think I would take the Clippers because I really liked a lot of the moves they made after Paul George went down. Obviously Kawhi Leonard didn't play, but I think Kawhi is still amazing.
Silly rabbit!
And
You
if you
think
can
Kawhi's
add,
going to play?
yeah, I know. Well, apparently, and then for the East, same thing. I would take the Nets. I think Ben Simmons really fits in well with Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and I think Kyrie next year they're not going to have the mandates. I don't think they will anyway at the start of the NBA season. So Kyrie's going to be able to play all. Well, theoretically, he should be able to play all those games that he missed. We'll see if there's another excuse that comes out the water where he misses, 53 games again, or however many he missed this year. And Kevin Durant's obviously amazing by himself. But you're right, there's so much competition, at least on paper, in both of these conferences, where you do out west have the Suns. We don't know what's going to happen with, DeAndre Ayton yet, but there's the Suns, there's the Clippers, who, again, I think they're real, like if Kawhi and Paul George are back, it's a really deep team, and they probably shouldn't have trouble attracting, like, free agents or some wily vets to come in there, being that they're in LA, and then if you have healthy Kawhi and Paul George, you're going to have a shot at a ring. Not that the Warriors are going to have any trouble with that either if that's the route they decide to go. Who else do you have? I mean, you have Memphis, who's on the come up too. Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bain. They're bringing, I think, all of those guys back. And then in the East, you mentioned all the teams, and like you still have Philadelphia, where I know what you think of James Harden, but if you have a year of Harden and Embiid, and they get a year to figure it out, and then like you still have Tyrese Maxey, like I think that could be a really good team, and then you still have Doc Rivers, who is still a good coach, despite maybe the Sixers have stopped listening to him at this point, but is still a pretty good coach. And I just think the competition, at least on paper, will be tougher, but it all comes down to health, and certainly the Celtics and Warriors will be in that mix as long as all those guys stay healthy, because we could be looking at back from a year from now and say, oh well, Steph broke his hand again, and now the Warriors are poop. Right. So they might not even be in the playoffs like they were the last two seasons. Yeah, we don't know. I don't think it's going to be a rematch, though. I don't think either of these teams are going to be back. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably choose the Warriors over the Celtics.
I get that. It's just the defense matters to me, and this defense that the Celtics play is really, really good. And you saw them come to me. It's obviously about Tatum and Brown and being able to play together, going forward. There's been so much made about how do you keep both these guys. It's not working, blah, 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 blah. And then Marcus Smart has his blow-up moment with them back in November, and that's when things kind of started to turn around. We didn't even discuss Minnesota, who's on the, what is the word? Incline. There's definitely contenders out there, and it's not going to be an easy road for either team. I just think what each of these teams bring to the table make it very difficult to knock them out of the postseason. I think the Celtics have figured it out, and they have a lot of the right pieces. Al Horford's already guaranteed his contract for next year based off of how he's played in this postseason. That news came out last week. So he'll be back, and he brings a lot to the table as far as what the Celtics need, as far as defensively and just having that great veteran that's going to, what he's going to give you, and it usually helps you guys win. But it's, like you said, it's hard to predict. If I was going to make that prediction, I like what these two teams have brought to this table this year, and I don't see it stopping. That doesn't mean these other teams that they beat along the way. Memphis, played Golden State really well. Boston obviously had a really hard time with Milwaukee without Chris Middleton. So obviously with him being back, it's going to change things, but the whole team changes when you have your second star in there, and other guys, might not step up as much as they did this year with Chris Middleton being out. You never know what you get from the role players, and that plays a big factor in how teams go as well. But there's a lot out there that's going to change how this, how next season is going to look altogether. We're obviously assuming everyone's going to stay healthy, and I just think what the Warriors have from the young guys coming up, and getting a lot of growth this year in this run and getting to the NBA Finals and seeing what it takes to get there. If they are the right kind of players, they're going to internalize that and, up their game for the next years to come. And these guys are only going to get better. Jordan Poole should only get better. Kuminga and Moody obviously should only get better. Wiseman, like you said, completely forgotten at this point, but, he's a heck of a talent, and if he can put it all together, he can absolutely be a difference maker as well.
And, in out east, we forgot about Shaden Sharp coming into the Pistons, averaging 35 points a game.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah.